Text 1. Chapter 1. Where can the pervert escape? A. The fastest update to the latest chapter of Boss to Catch Ghosts Together. Ms. Zhang, please. That office over there is Mr. Wang's office. My colleagues who work overtime these days will hear strange noises every time they pass by the door. Did anything else happen? Zhang Xinyo crossed her arms and looked at the secretary beside her, who was leading the way. When she first entered this floor, she had already felt the ghostly energy, but it was not very obvious. Female colleagues will feel molested when they pass by or sometimes go in. The secretary also had an aura on her face when she mentioned that the female colleague was molested. Zhang Xinyo naturally understood that the female colleague who was molested was her. But this secretary lady is indeed very beautiful, with big eyes, an oval face, and a pair of slender legs that are very straight. If she were a man, she wouldn't be able to help but look at her a few more times, let alone a man who became a ghost. Oh, I understand. It turns out it's a pervert. You wait for me here. I'll go in and take a look first. Zhang Xinyo got a general idea and then went into that office. According to the secretary, that's the only problem with that office in the whole company, but I don't know what happened to that pervert. Miss Zhang. Zhang Xinyo stopped when the secretary called her, turned around and showed a smile, and said, Miss Secretary, if you are afraid, just go downstairs and wait for me. After saying that, he didn't look back. When I came to the office door and looked inside from the window, everything was normal, nothing unusual. So Zhang Xinyo grabbed the handle and tried to push the door in. After twisting it for a long time, there was no reaction at all. It seemed that the door was locked from the inside. Zhang Xinyo sighed, reached into his pocket, took out a piece of talisman, and was about to stick it on the door, when the door opened automatically, as if to welcome her arrival. Zhang Xinyo looked at the open door in front of her, raised the corners of her mouth slightly, then put the talisman away, glanced at the secretary who had not left yet, made a face, and stepped in. The secretary lady also saw the strange situation just now. When she saw Zhang Xinyo's grimace, she couldn't react for a moment, but then she was no longer afraid and seemed to believe in Miss Zhang's ability. After Zhang Xinyo came in, the door behind him closed and locked automatically, as if he didn't intend to let her out. Zhang Xinyo turned around and looked at the locked door. A trace of ridicule flashed in her eyes. When she turned around and looked at the office again, the lights above her head began to flicker on and off. A strong wind suddenly swept through the closed office space, and the books on the desk were blown by the wind. But Zhang Xinyo didn't look scared at all, and she didn't take any action. She wanted to see what other tricks this pervert could come up with. In fact, Zhang Xinyo had already seen the pervert as soon as she entered the office. These little tricks were all done by the pervert to scare her. At this time, the pervert saw that she was not scared, so he was unwilling to attack her directly. Zhang Xinyo watched the pervert approaching her and grabbed her breasts with a pair of big hands. Zhang Xinyo raised her hand and waved. A silver light flashed through. The pervert let out a sharp roar and was nailed to the wall on the side of the office by the silver light. The pervert who originally looked like a human has now turned into a ghost. Very ugly. Can you see me? The pervert asked unwillingly. He originally thought that a beautiful woman came to the door, but he didn't expect to kick the iron plate. Tisk TSK, do you think I can't see you? Zhang Xinyo looked at the pervert who had been subdued by her in amusement and dared to attack her breasts. He was simply looking for death. But since the other person has already died once and is now a ghost, she will be kind and let him die more completely. Who said a ghost can't die again, leaving his soul torn apart and never reincarnated? Master, please let me go. I don't want to, but I can't control myself. The pervert understood now and began to beg for mercy, hoping that the other party could let him go. Unfortunately, it was obvious that he had only been a ghost for a short time, and the ghosts who had not memorized it yet told him that the pretty woman in front of him was their nemesis, the celestial master. He is still the most powerful among the current human heavenly masters. Zhang Xinyo's name is very resounding in the ghost world. Even the king of hell would give her a smile when he saw her. I'll let you go, okay? I think it's better to let me help you so that you don't have to control your behavior in the future. Besides, what will happen to my money if I let you go? Zhang Xinyo has no intention of letting this pervert go. Besides, the celestial masters can tame such ghosts wandering around the world and send them back to the underworld. It's a pity that this pervert made her angry today, but she was not so easy to talk to. He raised a finger to his lips and shushed, signaling for the pervert to be quiet. That pervert was very afraid of death, and his whirring was very disturbing. Sure enough, the pervert calmed down, but his eyes were full of fear, and no sound came out of his grown-up mouth. "This is how you behave. I won't make you suffer too much." As she said this, Zhang Xinyo's fingertips flashed with fluorescent light, and she came to the pervert. With a flick of her fingertips, the fluorescent light fell on the pervert's body. I saw that the pervert slowly began to melt, and then disappeared completely. Zhang Xinyo turned around, clapped her hands, and called it a day. This time, this pervert was really taking it easy. "Zhang Xinyo, how could you kill him?" The questioning tone was accompanied by a dark wind blowing from Zhang Xinyo's back. Zhang Xinyo turned around and waved his left hand in front of him, easily dispelling the evil wind, and a gentle smile spread all over his face. It was really fun to see the man appear out of nowhere. He seemed to be new here, otherwise he wouldn't have used such a tone towards her. "New here, you know my name?" Zhang Xinyo's meaningless words made the man confused as to what she meant. Zhang Xinyo looked at this man. He had blind eyes and a very pale face, but not as pale as Otherin's eye. Overall, he was still a very stunning male ghost. Yes, you heard it right, it's amazing. Although it is not appropriate to describe a man, oh no, it should be said that it is a male ghost. Unfortunately, Zhang Xinyo can only find these two words to describe the appearance of the male ghost in front of her. Zhang Xinyo. The male ghost called Zhang Xinyo's name through gritted teeth. This time he came to take this pervert back to the underworld. When he first arrived, he saw Zhang Xinyo beating the pervert to the point where he was beaten to death. How could he do business if he went back like this? "What's your name?" Zhang Xinyo suddenly wanted to know the name of this male ghost. Besides loving money, her second biggest hobby was liking handsome guys. 2. Chapter 2, if you lose, you will be my ghost one. A. The fastest update to the latest chapter of Boss to Catch Ghosts Together. It seems that this male ghost is not very familiar with her deeds. Zhang Xinyo has the idea of taking him for her own use. At worst, she will personally go to the underworld and ask the King of Hell for a ghost. The King of Hell probably won't say much. That's what Zhang Xinyo thought at his heart. "I don't have a name," he replied coldly. He didn't know what Zhang Xinyo meant when he asked his name. "It's so pitiful. Since you don't even have a name, how about calling you Xiaohe?" Zhang Xinyo looked at the male ghost in front of her. As for the name Xiaohe, she just said it casually. "Stop talking nonsense, come back with me, and wait for Yanjun to make a decision." With that said, the man was too lazy to talk nonsense to Zhang Xinyo. He reached out and pulled out a sword from the ground. The blade of the sword was so cold that the temperature of the entire office dropped. As soon as the sword appeared, Zhang Xinyo's eyes became colder and became more serious. "Xiaohe, the sword is good, but you are sure to fight with me." Zhang Xinyo suppressed the excitement in his eyes and then looked at the other party as calmly as possible. It was a good sword, his eyes were cold enough, and his aura was good, but he was no match for her. She was born to be his Yin-type nemesis. "Xiaohe, Xiaobai, they're afraid of you, but I am not afraid of you. I will take you back to the underworld right now." He didn't want to be called Xiaohe. He Wuchang's black face was really ugly. This damn woman actually gave him such a name. He was confused just by the name. Everyone else had names. Even Lord Yama gave them names, but he was the only nameless ghost in the entire underworld. He couldn't remember his name, and standing in front of the Nia Yuan mirror, he couldn't see his past life. "Okay, I'll give you a hand. If you lose, it's my fault. You can't regret it." Zhang Xinyo smiled and didn't care whether she liked the name she gave him. As long as she liked it, right? Anyway, he couldn't hurt her even if he gave her a hand. There is nothing she can't get that she wants. This little black guy completely aroused the idea of conquest in her heart. She has almost never met an opponent in these years, and she is very lonely. Even Yenjun, whom everyone in the underworld was afraid of, gave her 3 points. It took a long time, and it was too boring. What a shame. Xiaohei snorted coldly. He had never fought against Yenjun. Xiaohei and Xiao Bai were afraid of this woman, but he would not be afraid. He raised his sword and rushed forward. A silver thread flashed between the lightning and flint and wrapped around his sword. A trace of surprise flashed in Xiaohei's eyes. This woman was so strong. He tried several times but couldn't pull out his sword. Hey, how about you admit defeat? Just come from me. Zhang Xinyo was very satisfied with Xiaohei's ability. If anyone else had been able to resist this sword, he just didn't know when Yenjun recruited such a capable subordinate. No wonder it's not He Wuchang and Bai Wuchang who came this time. I'm afraid they also want him to confront them so that they can see their own strength. Dreaming. Xiaohei was very angry, so he poured all the ghost energy from his body into the sword. The sword seemed to feel the owner's mood, and the sword light suddenly shined, forcing Zhang Xinyo away. Zhang Xinyo is a human being after all. She just agreed to let him have one hand, but at this moment, she just used the coiled dragon silk to lock the blade of his sword. She did not set up a formation barrier around her to separate the yin qi. As a human being, it is not a good thing for yin qi to invade the body, even if it is a serious illness. Going to the hospital now is like being robbed. She is reluctant to part with the money she has worked so hard to earn. Zhang Xinyo was no longer polite at this time. His hand that had not moved originally grasped the other end of the coiled dragon silk. His eyes darkened, and a flash of purple light passed by. It was so fast that people couldn't even see it, and then he stretched out his tongue and touched the thin silver thread, and suddenly the silver-white coiled dragon thread flashed with dark red blood. Xiaohei frowned. He didn't know what weird magic weapon the woman opposite was using, but that magic weapon now made him feel uncomfortable all over, and he was very resistant to it. Instinctively, he had the urge to escape, but he couldn't move his feet at this time. He could only watch the woman Zhang Xinyo slowly approach him. That pair of eyes that were determined to win frightened him. Thinking of what she said just now, if he loses, it's hers. If he loses, he must obey her. He was even more conflicted in his heart. How could a man become a woman? It was really an insult to him. Xiaohei's unwillingness to die rather than surrender made Zhang Xinyo feel good. Walking in front of Xiaohei, she was very happy to see him unable to move. At that moment, the light from her coiled dragon silk had already formed an invisible rope in the air, tying Xiaohei up, so he couldn't move, and now she was letting her do whatever she wanted. Despicable. Xiaohei couldn't move, but he could still speak. What exactly did this woman want? He hadn't forgotten how the pervert died just now, but now he didn't have any moves with her at all, and now he was trapped and unable to move. A war is never tiring of deceit. You can't escape tonight. Be obedient, and I will be very gentle. Zhang Xinyo knew that he wanted to express that she had defeated him with 2 hands. Unfortunately, she did not feel that she was despicable because she only held the dragon silk with both hands and did not make a move at all, so he was trapped. After collecting the dragon silk, Zhang Xinyo punched Xiaohei and knocked him to the ground. Xiaohei still couldn't move his body at all, and was hit without a chance to dodge. Then Zhang Xinyo stepped on his back, bent down, grabbed Xiaohei's hair, and pulled his head up. The curve of the raised neck was very graceful, making Zhang Xinyo feel like bending his head and biting open the neck. Auntie, be merciful. Be merciful. Zhang Xinyo was disturbed by the voice and was very dissatisfied, but still let go of her hand and then took her feet away. Standing aside and watching another ghost appear in the darkness, dressed in white, with a long red tongue hanging out. It was obviously Bai Wuchang. Swallow your tongue back and let me see it again, and you won't want this tongue again. Zhang Xinyo was very sensitive to Bai Wuchang's tongue. Every time she saw it, It made her feel very sick. Yes, yes, swallow it back now. Thanks to my aunt for being merciful, I will take him away. Yanjun also said that you are welcome to play when you are free. Bai Wucheng reluctantly swallowed his tongue back. He was originally going to hang himself, and his tongue was too long, so there was nothing he could do. But it's better than nothing, so I still have to endure it. Both Yanjun and this aunt have to give 3 cents of face. He can't afford to offend her for a little impermanence. He was originally going to collect the perverts here and take them back to the underworld, but something unexpected happened, so he called such a newcomer here. He didn't expect anything to happen, but he met this little ant. 3. Chapter 3. If you lose, you will be my ghost too. A. The fastest update to the latest chapter of Boss to Catch Ghosts Together. Fortunately, he arrived in time, otherwise this kid would have died. Looking at the look just now, the ant looked like she was going to eat this person alive. Bai Wucheng swallowed subconsciously. Go back and tell your Yanjun that I have taken a liking to this boy, and he will be my ghost from now on. When Zhang Xinyo saw Bai Wucheng coming, she knew that this boy was also very important in the eyes of the underworld. Otherwise, Bai Wucheng would not appear in person to say good things to him. Moreover, Yanjun also said that she was welcome to play in the underworld, which made her even more unwilling to let this boy go. It was not that she refused to give Yanjun face. Everyone knows that Zhang Xinyo's ability is something that even Yanjun is afraid of. Yanjun has never wanted to see her at all. Today, she said such things for this kid, which is suspicious. Hey, Grandma, don't be embarrassed. Just let me take this kid away. Just think that I owe you a favor today. Bai Wucheng knew that this woman would not let them go so easily, so he licked his face to say good things. As the saying goes, the king of hell is better than a difficult kid. Zhang Xinyo made a calculation in his mind and nodded, even if it was sold to Bai Wucheng. Yanjun can't come to the human world at will. He might be useful to Bai Wucheng in the future. As for that boy, she had a hunch that there would be a chance to meet him in the future, so she didn't insist on it. Wait a minute. Bai Wucheng was about to take the boy away when he was stopped by Zhang Xinyo's voice. He murmured in his heart that this woman might have regretted it again. Do you have anything else to explain? Bai Wucheng asked respectfully, fearing that she would pull out his tongue if she was unhappy. Zhang Xinyo ignored Bai Wucheng and walked to Xiaohei's side. Their eyes immediately collided in the air. You lost today. After leaving these words, Zhang Xinyo turned around and left. Bai Wucheng shook his head helplessly and took the boy back to the underworld. How could you be defeated by her? Bai Wucheng looked at the silent boy next to him in confusion on the way back to the underworld. I don't know either, but I just can't bear to hurt her. When Zhang Xinyo left the office door, the secretary looked at Zhang Xinyo with admiration and then ran over. Miss Zhang, how are you? I just heard the sound of fighting outside. Are you okay now? It's okay. I'll make sure everything is clean, Zhang Xinyo said with a smile. It seemed that the secretary hadn't left and had been waiting outside for any movement inside. I don't know, how did you deal with that thing inside? She should be right to call it that. They are no longer human, but she looked left, right, front, and back, and did not see where Miss Zhang put the thing. Don't they all show on TV that the master of absorbing ghosts will subdue the ghost in a magic weapon and then transcend it? But there was nothing on Miss Zhang, which made her a little curious. Let it fly away. Zhang Xinyo said these words, and then the secretary stood up without feeling cold. Although he was a pervert, after all, he didn't do anything harmful to nature, and he didn't cause anyone's life. He just died like this. I have other work to do. After the account is settled, you can just transfer it to my account. Then Zhang Xinyo went to another customer and looked at his watch. The appointment time with him was almost here. The other party doesn't like people who are late. The next client is a fat sheep, and she wants to kill him well. There are not as many unclean things in this society as before, and those with higher moral standards hide them very well. Therefore, it is becoming increasingly difficult for them to make a living in this industry. If they make a big fortune, they don't have to start work for a year. In the luxurious office on the highest floor of the Imperial Building, a man sat on a leather sofa. He looked at the woman sitting elegantly opposite with a smile. He saw the woman's slender and beautiful legs crossed, her head lightly supported by one hand, and a pair of charming eyes looking at him. He, who was used to seeing beautiful women, couldn't help but feel his heart beating so fast that he almost jumped out of his mouth. I really didn't expect that the current Tianchi would be such a beautiful woman. He has always been very gentle when discussing business with beautiful women. However, this appearance really makes people doubt whether her strength is as outstanding as her appearance. Ms. Zhang, you are talking too much. Although such a price is just a drop in the bucket to me, it must be worth giving to you. Otherwise, it will make others think that I am wasting my fortune. Oh, a well-known leading company in the industry can't afford such a small amount of money. Mr. Chu is really good at joking. Zhang Xinyo looked up and down at Chu Tianai sitting opposite her with her charming eyes. Zhang Xinyo believed that her charm would make Chu Tianai pay willingly. Everyone is timid. No one is an exception. What's more, facing this kind of creature that cannot be explained at all scientifically, otherwise their industry would not exist, and she, Zhang Xinyo, can be regarded as a master in their industry. 500,000 yuan is definitely worth it. You should have heard of my ability, otherwise you wouldn't have found me. Zhang Xinyo said, the smile in his eyes not diminishing, staring at the computer screen in front of him. It seems that the things on this computer are better than the living person in front of me is much more important. Besides, life is priceless. It's only 500,000 yuan, and I'm not a person who asks for exorbitant prices. What's more, in the end, I may only lose money on this business of yours, but I will use my life to make more money. Zhang Xinyo knew that this man was shaken. 500,000 was indeed not a huge amount of money for him. Things like money must be spent, otherwise it will be useless paper. The beauty in front of her was not easy to deal with at all, as if she was determined that he would not find anyone else. Chu Tian had a dry mouth and wanted to drink water, but a transparent glass suddenly appeared in front of him. What surprised him was not the sudden appearance of the glass, but the fact that the glass was hanging in the air in front of him. Being used to seeing big storms in the business world, this scene still frightened him. He looked up and saw Zhang Xinyo looking at him with a smile on his face. Sir, please use it. The sudden voice from the side brought Chu Tian back to his senses. I saw that the cup had fallen on the table, and there was a young man in the empty place just now. The young man's face was pale, which made him tremble for no reason and made his hair stand on end. Oh, thank you. Chu Tian was polite and was about to reach out to hold the glass of water when he saw Zhang Xinyo opposite him snap his fingers, and the boy who brought the water disappeared instantly. Chu Tian was frightened, and the water in the cup in his hand spilled out. Looking at the ground in surprise, he saw a human-shaped piece of white paper on the ground. 4. Chapter for the male protagonist appears 1. A. The fastest update to the latest chapter of Boss to Catch Ghosts Together. Mr. Chu, have you thought about it? Zhang Xinyo glanced at the person in front of her. This person came to beg her to take away the ghost. If it weren't for the introduction by an acquaintance, she wouldn't only ask for the amount of 500,000. Haha, I really found the right person. This check is for you and can be cashed at any time. The move just now has proved that Zhang Xinyo is a powerful and capable woman, and his 500,000 will definitely not be wasted. He is also a cheerful person. It's only $500,000. As long as he gets rid of those unclean things, it's worth the money. In addition, my accommodation and other expenses this time are not included in the 500,000 yuan. They will be calculated separately when I come back. Zhang Xinyo said, this time the place of work is no longer in the country. If you want to go abroad, the accommodation and air tickets will naturally be calculated separately. No problem. I've also asked my secretary to book the air tickets. I'm just waiting for your good news. After Chu Tian finished speaking, he drank the water and left. 3 days later, Zhang Xinyo took her luggage and boarded a plane to the United States alone. This time, her job was at Chu Tian's company in the United States. For some unknown reason, People kept saying they saw ghosts one after another, which caused people to panic, and the employees were not in the mood to work. Nothing major happened at all. Judging from her experience, it was not an evil ghost. Otherwise, he would have seen blood. So there won't be too much danger this time. Otherwise, the price wouldn't be as low as 500,000 yuan. She stopped thinking so much, closed her eyes, and prepared to fall asleep. She never liked such long-distance work. Flying back and forth was a waste of time. Wei Haoren, the youngest generation of Wei's enterprise today, is also the successor of Wei's enterprise in the future. Wei's is now involved in real estate and catering. This time there is a big business in the United States. The other party must be responsible for it and must go there in person. His secretary has already gone over to help him take care of it. He got on the plane alone. As soon as he sat down in his seat, he saw the girl sitting next to him, a very pretty girl who looked young. The reason why he noticed the seat next to him was because he was traveling in first class and the seat next to him was wearing cheap clothes. This attracted his sideways glance, but it was just a glance. Then, Wei Haoren turned on the TV on the armchair and put on headphones to watch the program. After all, the distance of this flight was not very far. At this time, Zhang Xinyo also felt someone sitting down next to him. He opened his eyes and looked at the man in front of him, feeling familiar. "Sir, where have we met?" Zhang Xinyo blurted out the words subconsciously. When she saw the people around her frowning, she herself felt that she was a bit abrupt. After all, how could she, a girl, ask such a question? She must not have left a good impression on the other party. "Hello, my name is Zhang Xinyo. I'm glad to be sitting with you on this trip, but seriously, have we met somewhere?" Zhang Xinyo usually wouldn't be so enthusiastic. She was only interested in money, but the man in front of her did give her a very familiar feeling. "Wei Haoren, I'm sorry. I think you may have mistaken the person. We have never met." After Wei Haoren replied out of politeness, he closed his eyes and was not prepared to pay attention to the boring people on the side. But not long after he closed his eyes, he felt someone on the side pat him. He had no choice but to use Wei Haoren's good education to open his eyes again and look at the people around him. "Mr. Wei, have you encountered something unclean recently? I think you look very bad. It's fate that you met me. I have a piece of talisman paper here. Keep it. It can help you avoid disaster if necessary. But from my perspective, that thing is still how about the price? Since we are so destined, I can give you a 20% discount. What do you think?" Zhang Xinyo had a smile on his face, and his eyes were very dazzling when he mentioned money. Wei Haoren was stunned for a moment. 20% off. Wei Haoren looked at Zhang Xinyo's eyes and asked lightly. "That's right, 20% off, so it's only 5 million. It's a good deal. How about it?" When the other party asked about the price, Zhang Xinyo immediately came up with a price. "Look at this Wei Haoren, who is wearing a brand name, very fat sheep. There is no reason not to eat it when it is put to his mouth. Moreover, he does have an unclean smell on his body. Just smelling that smell is already very ominous. It is much more difficult than Mr. Chu's problem, and the price is naturally much higher." "Thank you, no need." Wei Haoren frowned when he heard the price of 5 million and then refused, closing his eyes and not preparing to talk to the other party. It turns out that his neighbor is not only a bad guy, but also has a bad head. She might as well rob a bank for 5 million, as no normal person would give it to her. I'm afraid that the fact that they had met just now was just for blackmail like this. "Forget it. I'll give you this talisman for free at no charge. This is my business card. If you really need it, you can call me," Zhang Xinyo said for a long time. Seeing that the other party had no intention of taking it, and he didn't open his eyes to look at her, she touched her nose, and the good man put the talisman and the business card into Wei Haoren's pocket. She has always been unwilling to force others. When he really meets him, he will naturally look for her. So Zhang Xinyo also spread the blanket on his legs, closed his eyes, and rested. In this way, the journey of the two has just begun. Wei Haoren had not fallen asleep. The plane was very quiet at this time, and everyone was asleep. Zhang Xinyo next to him was obviously asleep too, and his breathing was very steady. When Wei Haoren was about to continue to close his eyes and rest, Zhang Xinyo's body beside him tilted and slid towards him little by little, and then his little head rested on his shoulder, and his warm breath sprayed on Wei Haoren's neck, which was a little itchy. Wei Haoren's heart was a little palpitating. He had rarely been so close to a girl. The two of them were so close, Wei Haoren could clearly smell the light and elegant perfume on Zhang Xinyo's body. Looking at Zhang Xinyo's sleeping face, this girl really knew how to enjoy it, using him as a pillow. Wei Haoren then pushed Zhang Xinyo to the inside. Unfortunately, after shaking a few times, the other party leaned towards him again and refused to move his position, insisting on using his shoulder as a natural pillow. After repeating the same action n times, Wei Haoren finally frowned and gave up his persistence. He worked until late last night and was tired. He leaned on the back of the chair, smelled the faint scent of Zhang Xinyo's perfume, and fell asleep in a daze. When Wei Haoren woke up, the passengers on the plane had already stood up and were preparing to get off the plane. It seemed that he was so tired from work yesterday